IP routing. Now, routing refers to the process of selecting the shortest and the most reliable path intelligently over which it sends data to its ultimate destination. And a router is configured to work as a gateway device in computer networks. And a router can be a specialized device supporting multiple interfaces connected to different networks. The routing process usually forwards packets on the basis of routing tables. Routing tables which maintains a record of the routes to various network destinations, and thus the constructing routing table which are held in the router's memory is very important or for efficient routing. So most routing algorithms use only one network path at a time. That is, multipath routing techniques enable the use of multiple alternative paths. So routing in simple term is the process of sending packet from one logical network to another. Now one logical network to another logical network, like you see in this image. Like this is your one network, we can say this is our network 11 and this is our network 10. So sending the packet from this network to this network is we can say it's called routing, and it can only done by the router, because the router is the device which can connect two different networks. It is sitting in the gateway. That means this is your network, this is your network 10, and if you want to go out of this network, then you have to go through this gateway. And this is your 11 network of 11, and if you want to go out of this network also, you have to go through this gateway. So the router sits on the gateway and it's connect to two different networks. Now it can do more decision. It can do find the path for more other networks and multiple other networks, and that is called routing. Now very simple, we have created the design in Packet Tracer. Now in this, what we have this our site 1, which is having this network 10. Then the other site, we have the site 2 here, which is having 172.16.0.0 network. Now within the site, these machines can connect to each other. Like if I try to use this machine, and I will try to check the connectivity for the other machines. So I will try to ping 10.0.0.3. It is giving me the reply, that means it is connected. If I try to ping 4, it is also connected. 3 and 4 is connected. Now I will try to ping the router, this router IP address. So I will say I want to ping 1. Now this router is also connected. So this machine are all connected together because they are in the same network, and they can also connect this router fast Ethernet port, which is connected to this LAN network. So they are also connected to that. Then if I try to connect from this machine, and I will try to check the connectivity with the other machines. Like I will go to desktop and command prompt, and I will try to check the connectivity with 172.16.0.2. So it is pinging this machine. Then I will try to check connectivity with 3. So it is also connected with this machine. Now I will try to connect this to 1, the router's interface. So that is also connected. Now they are all connected together within the network, and also they can access the router interface, and through that interface they can connect the router also. Now these two sites, these two LAN network, these two subnets, these two networks are here. Now what I want is to connect this network to this 172.16.0.0 network. Now connecting this is what done by the router, and router will do what? It will connect those different networks. Now here as we say, like we connect, like this is a different city, this is a different city, and we want to do the connectivity between those two cities. So we have the router there, and router is connected to the WAN network, but there is no WAN network here we have in Packet Tracer. So we connected them directly through the serial cable so that we can do the connectivity. And we have assigned the same network IP on the both side of the serial interface. And this network is also a different network, like this is network 10, so this is network 20. So this network 20 is also a different network. So router is connecting these 3 different networks together, but they are connected, the IP addresses are connected. Now if I go to this router and I will try to see that whether I am connected to this router or not. So if I want to see the connectivity of this router, so I will try to ping this IP 20.0.0.2. So I will try to ping 20.0.0.2. Now what I am getting here, I am getting the reply. Success rate is 100%. I sent 5 packets, I received 5 packets. So these two routers are also connected, and these network is connected to router, this network is connected to router, and these two routers are also connected with this network. Now we want to connect them together, but they will not do the connectivity. Like for example, I will go to this PC. Now I will try to ping this 20.0.0.1 or 20.0.0.2. Now what I am getting here, I am getting no reply. They are connected to the same router, but still we are not getting the reply, because this is another network. It is another network, but it is still in the same router. We are not getting reply. I will try to connect 20.2. I will not get the reply. And even if I try to connect the other network IP, like from this side too, still we will not get the reply. Now why we are not getting the reply? Because there is no routing. We have not configured the IP routing. So configuring the IP routing is what connecting the two different network, and simply it is actually defining the path for the different network to the router. So I will try to ping this IP from the site 1, and it is not getting a reply. It is not getting a reply. So it does not get any reply, that means we are not connected. And when you are not getting the ping reply, that means we are not connected. So connecting these two networks are the what it is called, it is actually the IP routing. So why they are not getting connected? Because we see they are connected. We can see these machines are connected to router, and these machines are also connected to router, and these routers to router is also the connectivity is there. But why they are not connecting together? Now very simple, because of routing. Because of routing means what? Routers have to know the path. Router's job is to find the best path for the network, for the destination. Like when someone sends the data, like this router, this machine is sending any data here. Here it is sending the data. So in this data, it has a source IP address and destination IP address. Now when it goes to the router, so router's job is to find the best path to reach this destination. Now how it works? So basically what happens? Basically what happens when we do what? Suppose this is our network here, and we have two machines connected here, and now we are connected to router also. Then router will be connected through the WAN or whatever the WAN network, and then through the WAN it is connected to other site, and that site also has some LAN network and LAN network IP, some machines connected. Now these machines are here having the network of 10, so let's say it is 10.0.0.1, it is 10.0.0.2, and this router which is connected to this network is 10.0.0.3. Now what happened when you ping from this machine to this machine? So what happened, what you will do, you will run the command ping, and then you mention the IP address that I want to check the connectivity with 10.0.0.2. So 2, that means this machine, or even you try to check the connectivity with router's IP address, that means 10.0.0.2 or 10.0.0.3. Then what happened, your machine says that what is the network, what is the network path. First it checks its own network. It says that my network is network 10. Now network 10 means it is class A, and class A means what? Default is this subnet mask. Now if we have done some subnetting in our machine, so it will go by that subnetting. Right now if it is no subnetting, then it will go by the default one, and default subnet mask says that the subnet mask is 255.0.0.0. It is checking its own IP address. It says my network is network 10, which is class A, and this is the network IP 10. Now the IP address which is trying to ping, this is the IP address which is trying to ping. So it says what is the network of that IP which I try to ping, and it says what? It's only check the network path first. It says this is the network path, this is my network is 10, and the ping, the machine which I try to connect is also 10. Now what that means, it is same network IP. That means the machine which is trying to ping is 10, and the machine which it wants to ping, it is also 10. So they both are in the same network. Now what this machine will do, it will not try to find it anywhere, it will try to find it only in LAN network. That means it will try to send the ping request to only LAN network, and it will get to everyone, and this machine will send the reply, because this is the IP address of the machine. So this machine will send the reply, and if the machine is not there, if the IP is not there, then it will get no reply. It will say timeout. The IP is not reachable. It is not reachable. It is not. It's a timeout. Timeout, that means it will wait for the reply, and when the reply does not come because the IP is not there, then it will say timeout. Either we try to ping this machine, this IP, or I will ping this IP. Whatever the IP we will ping within the 10 network. Because this machine's network is also 10, so it will try to ping any IP. You will try to ping any IP within the network. It will say that it is within my network, and within my network, that means it will only try to find it in the LAN network. It will not try to do anything else. Now in this site, suppose the IP address what IP address we have is 172.16.0.0.1, and this is 0.2. So if I try to ping this IP from this machine or any other network IP, then what happens? When I try to ping this IP 172.16.0.1, now what happened? This machine sees that my network is 10. Now the IP which I want to connect, the network for that machine is 172.16. Now what that means, it is not in my network. It is not in my network. That means what? I can only find this IP. This machine says I can only find this IP through the gateway. through the gateway, because that gateway is only allow this machine to go out of this network. This gateway is what it is allowed to go out of this network. The network is 10. So if this IP we try to ping from this machine, so this machine says I cannot reach to that IP because it is not belong to my network, and if I want to go to this network, then I have to go through the gateway. Now for that, what this machine do, it try to check that whether I have any gateway IP or not. Now this is the first thing is important, what every machine in this network must know the gateway IP address, if they have any gateway. Right now we have this router as a gateway, and this is the IP address of that router. So all these machines, all the machines we have in this network must know that this is our gateway, and that is why they are having the gateway as same network, so that they can connect. So they have to know that this is a gateway IP address, this is our IP address of router that we can reach. Now if we have given the gateway IP address, then what this machine will do, it will not send the machine, it will not try to find this IP within the network, it will not try to find the IP in the network, it will directly send the request to that gateway, and that is what our router. And router's job is to find the best path for this destination network. And what it do, router do what, router check its memory. Router checks its memory, and in the memory router has a routing table, it is called routing table. All the routers has a routing table, and in that routing table what they have the entry for all the networks they know. Remember, they have an entry of all the networks they know, the networks which is connected to the router, and the network they know from the other routers. So whatever the network they have, all the networks they know, they create the entry into this routing table. Now if the routing table does not have an entry of that network which is this machine asking, then the router will send the reply as destination host unreachable. It will say destination host unreachable because I don't know about the destination. Now if it knows the destination, then it will forward the packet to that destination. Now what is happening in our network, packet tracer? Now what is happening here, when I try to ping all these IP addresses, I get request timeout. Now why I get request timeout? Because actually we didn't configure the gateway IP here. So if I go to the IP configuration, so I can see here the IP address we have configured, but the gateway we have not configured. This is very important. We have to configure the gateway, and we have to mention the IP address of the router, so that this machine will send the packet to router if we try to ping some other network. So the network gateway for these machines are this. This is the router fast Ethernet port IP address which is connected to this network. So all these machines within the network must know the gateway IP address. So I will configure these for these machines also. N.0.0.1. Then I will configure for this also. N.0.0.1. Now same as for these network IP machines also. These machines also must know that this is the gateway IP. Otherwise they will not send the reply. (172.16.0.1). 172.16.0.1. Now these machine knows the gateway now. Gateway they know. Now what? I will try to ping again. I will try to ping this 10.4. It is pinging. And I will try to ping the router's IP address 10.1, and it will also ping because previously also it was pinging because they are in the same network. Now I will try to ping the different network IP, let's say 20.0.0.1. Now I am getting the reply. I am getting the reply because this is directly connected. This is connected to this same router. So I am getting the reply because now it is connecting these two different networks. These two different networks are directly connected to this router. Now what is happening now? This machine is sending the request for the router. Like when I try to ping this network, so it checks that my network is 10 and the network which I try to ping is 20. So it will try to send the information to router. It says this is not my network, so I can only reach that network by going through the gateway. So it sends the packet to gateway. Then gateway, that means our router. Now router checks the routing table and it says that what network I know. In the routing table it checks that what are the entries there and what network is known. Now right now in the routing table of this router it knows the connected networks. Connected networks, that means through the fast Ethernet port it is connected to network 10, and through the serial interface it is connected to network 20. So it knows about these two networks. So it is giving me the reply, and it is giving me the reply from that IP. I will try to ping 20.2. Now I am not getting the reply. Now I am not getting the reply because it is not connected to this router. And it is saying timeout. Now I will try to ping the site 2 IP address, that is 172.16. This IP address. Now what I get here, previously we were getting the no timeout, the request timeout, but now what we are getting is destination host unreachable. What answer we are getting? Destination host unreachable. And the answer is coming from this IP address, and we know that this IP address is our router's IP address. This is our router's IP address, and the router is saying what? That I cannot reach to this destination. Why? Because in the routing table of this router is not having the information about this network. So it is not having an information about this network, and that is why the router is saying what? Destination host unreachable. Previously it was saying timeout when we try to ping that IP again. So it was saying the timeout because our machine does not know about the gateway. It does not know the gateway, that we have not given the IP address of the gateway, that this is our gateway. But now we configure the gateway, we inform the machine that this is our router, this is our gateway, and if you want to go for any other network, then you have to go to this gateway. So when we try to ping this IP address, so because it is not in our network, so our machine sends a request to the gateway, the router. The router checks the routing table and it says that there is no information, I cannot reach, the destination host is unreachable. So when we talk about the IP routing, so IP routing is a process to make that routing table, we can say easily, like when we say easily, that what the routing, IP routing means what? Creating the routing table or building the routing table of the router and inform the router about all the available networks. So when the router knows about all the networks, available networks, then router can easily forward the packet to those networks. And creating the routing table is very simple, is what? IP routing. So IP routing means what? Very simple, it is creating the routing table. So if a router wants to route the packet from source to destination, then it should have the following information. The information about the destination address which we give, which we give, like we ping and we give the IP address of the destination. Then neighboring routers, which will provide the information about the remote network. Neighboring router, that means this is our router and this is our neighbor router. So the neighbor router will provide the information about the neighboring network, and that network information will come to this router, and then router will create the routing table, build the routing table, and according to the routing table it can reach to those network. Then total number of routes to all remote network. Now sometime we can have multiple routes also. It is not like we have only one route to reach the destination. Like if this machine is sending the packet to this IP machine, then it is not necessary that we have only a single path. In a WAN network, it can go to the multiple path. It can take a multiple path to reach the destination. So it should know all the paths which is available, and it should know all the path which is to reach the destination machine, and that is about the routing. So routing is what basically it is what creating the routing table in a router, where all the networks, available networks information will be there in the routing table of our router, so that it can forward the packet to everywhere. For within the network communication, we don't need any router. We can do the communication directly within the network. But when we try to go outside our network, then we need a router to forward the packet. And for the router to forward the packet, it needs to have a routing table. Now, terms related with routings. Now, first term is routed protocols. A routed protocol is a network layer protocol which can be used to send the user data from one network to another, and routed protocol carries user traffic such as email, file transfer, and all that. So these are the routed protocols. That is what IP, IPX, Apple Talk. These are the routed protocols. Now within that, IPX we are not using. Is using the Apple Talk also, as a name suggests. It is for the Apple and built by Apple, for the Apple, and everything for Apple. We don't use that. Apple itself use the IP. So the IP protocol we use normally. So mostly we use the IP protocol, which is IP version 4 or even IP version 6. And this protocol is what is responsible to carry the data from one source to destination, and that is what this protocol can be. It is a routed protocol because it can be route, and that is why it is called routed protocol. Then we say routing protocols. Now routing protocols means what? These routing protocols are used between routers to determine the paths and maintain the routing table. That means these routing protocols are used to route the data, route the routed protocols. That means it is used to maintain the routing table in the router. We configure these routing protocols on routers, and we configure these protocols to maintain the routing table. These protocols' job is to maintain the routing table, and these protocols are called routing protocols. For example, RIP, IGRP, OSPF, EIGRP, ISIS. So these are some of the routing protocols we use. Then, as I said, routing table. So routing table is a table which contains information about all the networks and path to reach each network. And routing table can be called as a map of network which router uses for packet forwarding. A typical routing table includes the destination network, subnet mask of that network, then matrix and default gateway. These two things are very important. Outgoing interface. The gateway means outgoing interface, or we can say the outgoing interface or gateway. That means, for example, here in this for this router, the destination network will be this. The subnet mask will be for this. That means whatever the subnet mask, because it is class B, so the class B subnet mask will be there. Then the gateway or the outgoing interface. That means if I want to reach to this network from this router, then I have to go through this way. So from this way, this will be the gateway. This interface which is connecting this router to the WAN network will be the gateway for us. That means the gateway for this router will be this interface IP address. Whatever the IP address you have in this WAN interface, that IP address will be the gateway for this router, for this network. For this network on our router, this will be the gateway. Or we can say the outgoing interface. Outgoing interface, that means very simple, this interface of our router, which is where our data is going out for this network. So either we can have a router's outgoing interface information or the gateway information. So these informations we will have in the routing table. Then we have also the matrix depending on the routing protocols. Now without the routing table, packet forwarding cannot be done by a router. So as we know that router, as I have explained, that the router forwards the packet based on the routing table. So whatever the entry it has in the routing table, based on that it forwards the packet. And if it is not having any routing information, then it will not forward the packet. Then the administrative distance. Now this administrative distance defines the cost or weight of the routing protocols. And if multiple routes or multiple routing protocols are configured on a router, you can define which protocol or route to be used for a specific network. It is actually a specific number. These numbers are defined. You can say this is the default number and we don't change these numbers. These are defined. These are defined for like connected interface. These administrative distance value will be 0. This is fixed. Connected network, that means if you have this router and we have two interfaces. One is our LAN interface, one is our WAN interface. So we have one network here in the LAN interface, we have one network here in the WAN interface. Now whatever the network we have in both the sides, they are connected network. Like for example, we have 10.0.0.1 here. So network 10 is connected through the fast Ethernet port. Network 20 is connected through the serial interface. So for both these networks, the administrative value will be 0. This AD value will be 0. AD value, that means administrative distance value. Now the static route. Now this is also, these are all routing which we are going to configure. These are all type of routings. So if we configure the static routing, then the route will be configured with the static routing will be having the value of 1. So whatever the network our router knows from this static routing, they will have a AD value of 1. Like if I configure one network here from static routing, so that network value will be 1. Then if we configure the EIGRP for the routing, and if our router knows any network from EIGRP, then that network AD value will be 90, EIGRP 100, OSPF 110, RIP will be 120 and external EIGRP will be 170. These are the fixed value. Fixed value for all these different type of routings. Now what are these different type of routings? First we see that. So these are the different type of routings we have. In practical, there are several routing ways to configure the routing table to include all the networks so that packets can be forwarded. But here are the some methods. So first is what? Static routing. Then we have the default routing and also we have the dynamic routing. So static routing, default routing and dynamic routing. Now first, static routing. Now static routing is a form of routing that occurs when a router uses a manually configured routing entries. Now what we do in static routing, we actually create the routing table manually. Remember, very simple, we create the routing table manually. Manually, that means whatever the networks available in our network or in the network, we will configure all those networks one by one manually. That means we create the routing table manually, and that is called static routing. And when we call the dynamic routing, that means what? The routing table will be created dynamically or automatically. So routing table will be created dynamically, and it will be created dynamically by the protocol. That means we will configure these routing protocols. Remember, these are the routing protocols we have. So we configure the these routing protocols, and the routing protocols will do what? It will find the path, it will create the routing table dynamically, and that is why it is called the dynamic routing. So in a static routing, what we do? We create the routing table manually. So unlike the dynamic routing, static routes are fixed and do not change if the network is changed or reconfigured. And one more thing, when we configure the routing, dynamic routing, static routing, so routing will, the path, the route will never change. It will be the fixed route because we manually configured this, and it will not change if the configuration change or the network change. Now both dynamic routing and static routing are usually used on a router to maximize the routing efficiency and provide the backup in the event that dynamic routing information fails to be exchanged. So what is the static routing? Static routing basically creating the routing table manually. Let me show you how we can configure that. So let's say this is our routing, this is our design for the routing. We have these two different sites. We have connected these two different sites through the WAN network. Actually, we don't have a WAN network. What we did, we used directly serial port to connect this. One serial port directly we connected from one router to other router. We have given the same network IP so that they can connect. So we can like assume, or we can simulate the WAN here. Now what? We want to, our job is to connect these site 1 to site 2. These are both different networks, and we have to, these routers have to know that other routers, these all networks, so that it can route. So we can do what? We can create the routing table manually, and that is what called static routing. I will go first through this router Andheri here. Now every router has a routing table. By default in the routing table, it has only the entry for the connected networks. So if you want to see the routing table, so we will give the command show IP route, and when we run this command, it shows the current routing table. It shows the current routing table of the router. Now what it is showing here, it is showing that these two networks we have in the routing table. What are these networks? First, it is network 10, which is directly connected to fast Ethernet 0/0, and because of that this router knows about this network. Then the second network is network 20, and this is directly connected to serial 0/0 of this router, and because of these two interfaces connected from these two networks, it knows about these two networks, and in the routing table we have the information. Now what is this C? It means the C means what? It is a connected network. So these two networks are connected network, and this router Andheri knows that these two networks are connected. One is here from this fast Ethernet, and from serial it knows about this. But this Andheri router does not know anything about this 172.16.0.0 network, because this network is not connected to that router directly. Now when we check this router here, and in this router we will give the same command to check the routing table, show IP route. Now on this router also we can see it knows only the connected network. Connected network, first network 20 is directly connected to the serial network, serial 0.0.0/0 port, so it knows about that. And then network 172.16.0.0, it is also directly connected to fast Ethernet port of this router, so it is also connected. So these two network it knows, but it does not know about network 10, this network. So that means what, this Andheri router does not have information about this network, and Thane router does not have information about this network. Now we want to do the static routing. That means we have to create the routing table manually. That means we have to configure the router to know about this network. So Andheri router we will configure to know about this network, and Thane router we will configure to know about this network, and that is the process called static routing. So how we'll do that? I'll go to Andheri first, and in that we know for configuring anything we go to configuration mode, config terminal. Now here the command is IP root. This is a command to configure the static routing. So IP root, and then next I will give the information about the network. Remember the network, when I put the question mark here, it says what is the destination prefix. That means what your destination network. So this is what router Andheri, it knows about 10 and 20, does not know about network 172.16. So I will do what? I will inform this router about 172.16.0.0 network. So we have to make sure the router knows about all the networks. So we have to inform the router about each network one by one. There is only one network we have, 172.16, so I am informing about that. Now this network is class B. So I will mention, now when I put the question mark here, it says what is the destination prefix mask. That is the subnet mask. Now subnet mask, this is class B, so the subnet mask will be 255.255.0.0. If we have done any subnetting, then based on that subnetting we will make sure the subnet mask will be there. Right now I have not done the subnetting, so I am using the default subnet mask. Now after that, what we will give, I will put the question mark here. Now what it says here, you have to give, remember there is no CR here. CR means it is not carriage return, it is not showing carriage return. That means we have to make sure we give these informations. Now what is this? It is saying mention the IP address that is for the forwarding router's address. That means we have to mention the gateway. We have to mention the gateway of the router from we can reach this network. Or we can mention the forwarding outgoing interface also. It is providing the information about all the interface, so we can give any interface name for the forwarding outgoing interface. Now outgoing interface, that means it will be our own router interface, because if I am in Andheri, I want to go to this network site 2, so I can go only from this serial interface. I can go only from this serial interface. This serial interface will be our outgoing interface. And if I want to reach to this network, so my next hop, my forwarding address will always be this IP address of this interface, because when I try to go here, so I will go from here, I will out from this serial 0/0, and I will get in of this router from serial 0/0 and with this IP address. So when I try to enter this router Thane, I will enter from this interface and I will get this IP address. So this IP address will be the forwarding address, or we can say in easily it is called a first hop address. First hop address, that means when we jump the first hop, like from this router to Thane router, that means this is our next router. So when we go from one router to other router, it is called the hop, and this will be the first hop. Now remember why I am saying first hop address, not the forwarding address. I will explain when we have multiple addresses, multiple routers. But right now we can say the forwarding address also. So I will give the IP address of this as a forwarding address, or I can give the outgoing interface name also. We have both the options, either we can give the outgoing interface name, or I can give the first hop address as this address. So I will give first hop address and I will give 20.0.0.2. Now I will press enter. it is accepting, that means our command is completed. But it is actually not completed. When you give a question mark here, it says you can also mention the destination matrix of for the routes. That is, we can mention the AD value, but right now we don't require it, so we don't give it. We have a carriage written, that means we can press enter here. So what we give here is that if you want to reach this network from this subnet mask, then you can reach from this IP address. So we are sitting on Andheri, and I'm saying if you want to go to this network, you can go from this first hop address. Remember, first hop address. Now I will do the same for this Thane also. So in a Thane also, it knows only about network 20 and 172. It does not know about the network 10. So I will do what? I will configure IP route, and then I will mention the network which is not connected to this Thane router, and that is what, this network 10. So I will configure that network. Then I will mention the subnet mask, because I am not having a subnetting, so I will give the default one of class A. Now again I have to mention the first hop address or forwarding address. So first hop address for this router will be, like we are sitting on Thane and we want to go to this network here. So what we will do, we will go from this serial cable or serial interface, and we will reach to the Andheri first. Remember, the first router we will get is Andheri, and this is what our first hop. And on this first hop, we will enter from this serial interface, and this is the IP address we will get, 20.0.0.1. So what I will mention here, 20.0.0.1. Now we don't have any other network, so our routing is done, our static routing is done. And now when I run show IP route command, so now our router knows about these. Previously it was knows about these two networks. Now our router also knows about this network 10, and it says it can reach via 20.0.0.1. And what is this S? The S means what? It is a static. That means this is a statically configured network, and it is what? It is a static routing. Same as for this other router, this Andheri router. When I go here, we have already configured it. So when we go to check show IP route, so now this router also, it was having these two networks connected, but now it knows from S, that means statically configured, this network also, and it can reach via this IP address. Now I will try to ping this IP, this machine, from this machine. Previously it was not pinging. Previously when I tried it, so it says destination host unreachable, because the router does not know about the network. But now the router knows about the network. We'll try to ping that machine. Now the packet is going for the router, and then router will do what? It will forward the packet to that specific machine. Now what we get here, we lost the first packet, but the rest of the three packets are reached, and we get the reply. Now this happens first time when you go do the ping. It happens first time when you do the ping, but now next time when I do again, we don't lose any packet. Now again I will try to ping the other machine 3, this next machine, this machine. Now again first packet will be lost, but after that it will not lose any other packet. Only the first packet we lose, and then we don't lose other packets. Next time when you ping, don't lose other packets. Then I will try to ping this one also. We will also get the reply. So we are getting the reply from here to here. That means we can also get the reply from here to here. That means when we do the ping means what? It is two-way communication. We send the packet and then we receive the reply. That means if I try to do check the connectivity from here, I can also see, I can also get the reply. That is what we are not getting previously. So if suppose we were not getting the reply previously, now I will try to ping again 10.2. I will get the reply here. As you can see, I am getting the reply from 10.3 also. I will get the reply. Then from 10.2 also or 10.4 also I will get the reply. So by using the static routing, we did what? We configure it to do the communication from these two different sites, from this site 1 to site 2. And how we did that? We did what? We created the routing table on these both routers. And remember, we did it on both routers. If we did it only on this router, then it will only forward the packet, not receive the packet. So we did it for both the networks, both the routers, and we did what? We created the routing table statically, and that is called static routing. Now when we do the static routing, there are some advantages and disadvantages also. Advantages like static routing can be used to define an exit point from a router when no routes are available or necessary. We can do that even we don't have any route. This is called a default route. We will talk about the default route later. Then static routing can be used for small networks that require only one or two routes. This is often more efficient since a link is not being wasted by exchanging dynamic routing information. Now this static routing is very efficient and very fast, faster than any other protocol, any other dynamic routing. But it is not for the big network. It is for the small network, it is not for the big network. This static routing is often used as a complement to dynamic routing to provide a fail-safe backup in the event that a dynamic route is unavailable. Now it is not for the big network. Big network we use the dynamic routing. But if suppose the dynamic routing fails, then this route we configure it as a backup. Static routing is often used to help transfer routing information from one routing protocol to another, that is known as routing redistribution. Now, what are the disadvantages we have? In many cases, static routes are manually configured. Remember, we have configured it manually. So this increases the potential of human errors. Now, human errors, that means if you configure it mistakenly, then it will go as it is, and it will do the mistake, and it will not reach the destination. So administrators can make mistake and mistype the network information or configure incorrect routing path by mistake. So because you configuring it manually, then you can make a mistake here. So static routing is not fault tolerant also. That means if you lose a network path, then what? It will not go for the other path. Like if you have multiple paths, then it will not choose the other path automatically. You have to configure it manually because we are configuring it manually. So this means that when there is a change in the network or failure occurs between two statically defined devices, traffic will not be rerouted. That means it will not choose the other path. As a result, the network is down until the failure is overcome, or the static route is manually reconfigured by an administrator. Then static routes typically takes precedence over routes configured with the dynamic routing protocols. That means if suppose we have configured dynamic routing and static routing both, then the static routing will take the precedence. Router will choose the first static routing path, then it will go for dynamic. If it is not found in static, then it will go for dynamic. Now this means that static routes may prevent routing protocols from working as intended. And if you suppose both configure and you wanted to work the dynamic one, so dynamic one will not work, static one will work. So a solution is to manually modify the administrative distance. Then static route must be configured on each router in the network. This configuration can take a long time if there are many routers. It also means that reconfiguration can be slow and inefficient. And because the static routing is we are configuring manually, that means if suppose you have complex network and multiple networks with multiple paths, then it will be very difficult to configure properly. And if you change the network, then you also have to reconfigure it, so it will be very slow and inefficient. Now for all these problems, because it does not support the big network, it actually support but we can't afford it, we cannot manage it. That is why we have the dynamic routing. So what we see here is this static routing and how we configure the static routing and what are the advantages and disadvantages of static routing.